So today's session is on hands-on. It's a hands-on session on how to unlock AI-powered data engineering in your Snowflake. And that's something that we have been talking about for a while now, and we have some new updates. And with us to share about the same, we have none other than a Snowflake expert who's been working with Snowflake as an environment for around 7+ years. So thank you so much, Vivek, for joining in. He's also part of Snowflake Squad Member, which is again, you get to know from the practitioners that how you build inside Snowflake and what makes it better than all the other AI powered tools that are out there. So thank you so much, Vivek, for joining in today. Thank you so much, audience, for joining in today as well. Just a few housekeeping items. We will have like a little bit of deck content just to set up the scene. And once that's done, we'll go into a hands-on demo of sorts where Vivek will walk us through how do you build it for yourself in Cortex Code. So that's one part. And you can also do a Q&A. We have a Q&A tab right below. So just feel free to pop in all your questions and we'll take the questions towards the end. Moving on to the agenda part for today. So basically, we're going to set the scene by talking about what are the actual expectations and the reality about data teams. How is the today world working? What is the core problem and, probably a better way to think about it? Why there needs to be a very big foundation layer and why it matters. And then we go into Cortex Code, how it works, what it can do. Then we go like how the demo is structured. Then we talk about like a little bit more advanced agent team skills and intelligence. And then we try to bring it all together. And then we have like a quick starter guide for you all as well towards the end. So moving on, Vivek, my first question for you would be, what do you think are the expectations from data teams today? Like, what is business demanding in 2026?
Yeah. So currently, it's all about the productivity in organizations. Across what I see, the trends. It's all about the productivity that matters. Now, organization do not require people working, just to get a report, working 3, 4 hours, 5 hours, or an entire day to, get some insight from the report. So they use a couple of, features. Initially, it was started with Snowflake Intelligence, where they started with some tools like Cortex Analyst and Search. Now, more advanced to it, like Cortex Code, which is well integrated with Snowflake now, which can be used further with different mechanism, which I will explain later in this webinar. But yeah, with advent of this Cortex Code, it is pretty easy for anybody, like even someone sitting in the leadership position, to basically just use a natural language. And since it's a context friendly agent, it will give you the report in just a matter of minutes. So yes.
Awesome. So we're saying that, now it's all about productivity, how one person can do 5 jobs together, and with things like Snowflake coming in, even more executive level folks are trying to, start their natural language to, answers journey. That's pretty amazing to see, right?
Yeah.
Um, and what do you think is basically the reality right now? What's happening, even in 2026, I would say.
In 2026, what I observe is like it is mostly result oriented, right? The companies want result in very less latency, and that is the reason there is a paradigm shift from the primitive legacy mechanism that we used to build reports, n number of plethora SQL queries that we used to write and then used to run over like, and then there's a like complete different shift where we used to build a streamlit code by few developers. Now the thing is like there were also dependency, right? There were different teams sitting for some sitting for streamlit activities, somebody sitting for heavy SQL code writing for just to get the reports. Now under just one hood, you give the proper prompts to the agents, and they have proper skills. They have proper utilities. They know what objects to fetch, which context like from which context they need the information, and they will do it for you. So you don't need to rely on different teams today.
Got it. And what are actually the data teams, facing today, in their basically everyday work? Like what is making them slow?
Uh, Today, like if you have 10,000 tables in your organization or 20,000 tables in your organization, and you just want to filter out tables which, are PII related, which is like very much sensitive information that you are storing in any of the columns inside any of the tables, and you have plethora of tables in your organization, right? So very difficult earlier to fetch the information which column contains those sensitive data, SPI data, right? So you just for now, like in modern scenario in Snowflake, when you are using this Cortex code in Snowsite, you can just write a normal natural language query. Hey, find out the tables which have columns related to some PII data, and in matter of minutes, it will get you all the information which you require.
Okay, understood. And when it comes to, I think, uh, a lot of things that actually end up slowing down teams would be like something like a pipeline break. Data is becoming super inconsistent, and dev cycles are tend to get slow because there is a lot of iteration loops that keep on happening. That makes sense. So we've talked about like the problem statement, like what the business is demand. So let's talk about like what the actual business is demanding, like what is missing in today's loop.
Yeah, so most of the times, like in organizations right now, like there's a governance issues, right? Security concerns in the organization where they feel like, you know, they cannot use some external, um, say like Copilot or ChatGPT. They don't want to export their data to those third-party tools, right? So that is one of the concern that because of this security and governance, the organization had a very big pain point. So with this reliable solution that we have currently in Cortex Code, which is inside your hood, which is inside your Snowflake, which makes sure that your data is properly RBAC governed, which is like role based access. Everything is properly in place. All the security practices, like somebody like a role who is a kind of playing a developer role, and if they do not have access to finance database, so it respects that boundary. It wouldn't allow you to even see their data or any kind of SPI data if you have those kind of privileges in place. So right now that is one of the best thing that one organization would require. So yeah.
Got it, understood. And sorry. So I think the better way to think about a data stack, what do you think would be like the actual layers of that?
Radhika, talking about that, like in modern or right now the problem faced by many clients or kind of lots of projects that have come across, what we see is like their data is not in like it's scattered across various source systems, right? So that is one of the pain point because they don't have a centralized repository where they can put all the information together from different say data marts. And if they don't have the data in a central place, it is very difficult to get any kind of insight from those data, or do any kind of analytics on top of it. So in order to build that, I think to connect all the data sources together, I think Hevo is one of the best tool in the market, right? Like we can connect to different sources, like pull out with the connectors. We can, with no code, of course, we can use this ETL tool to connect to different sources, pull out all the information, and then you can, load using a Medallion architecture. You can use external stage, internal stage, based on where your data resides in the of course the pull data. And with this proper structuring in place, that you can build a pipeline. And the best part is, like if you build a pipeline, right, like initially what used to happen, like you had to create each and every layer, like gold layer, silver layer, bronze layer inside your data warehouse, right? And you had to write like you have to build QA engine for quality assurance, and then do a lot of business transformation inside it. A lot of efforts was required, right? And lots of developers, lots of man hours. So Cortex Code in that scenario, right? Somebody who is expert in creating lots of ETL, has done a lot of developments, they can use this tool to ease their development cycle, and in a matter of days, uh, and very much, very much efficient in terms of how human will do, and now it will create everything for you. And yeah,
Interesting, interesting. So we are saying that the better way to think about your data layer is to first have data in Snowflake for your Gen AI endeavors, and you can do it through tools like Hevo. So all the sources that you have in your organization, you can just combine all of those sources and get them into your Snowflake. And then there are so many activities that used to take so much time initially. Now it's done in natural language via Cortex Code. Interesting. That seems like our ecosystem is consolidating and simplifying a lot more, and a lot more quickly as well.
yeah,
So, when it comes to like the foundation layer, here is where I would want to probably talk a little bit more in depth about Hevo. So one of the biggest reasons and one of the biggest asks that we have heard so far is, hey, we want to try AI. Hey, we want to try Gen AI, Cortex Code, and whatnot, right? But our data is not in place, our data is not reliable. So that is something that where Hevo comes into the picture. What we do is we automate ingestion for you. So basically it's like a set and forget sort of situation where you don't really have to go back, you don't really have to keep on checking on your pipelines, and no custom code is required to get your data moving. So just making sure that one set of your piece is done very simply. Then we also make sure that we actually do your schema change handling pretty easily. So one of the biggest reason why we see like a lot of pipelines that break is that your schema was different. Somebody added a column and now everything broke down, and you'd have to make sure you have to spend hours basically fixing that, right? So that is now taken care of. That schema change handling is done inbox with Hevo. And we also make sure that your data consistency is there, exactly how you want it to be in your source, in your destination system, which is Snowflake right now. So why actually this conversation really matters, right? When your data is reliable, when you can actually believe in the fact that this data is what we wanted initially, is the moment that your downstream also accelerates quite a lot. So like there's not a lot of like pipeline firefighting that you got to do. You're not going to be woken up at 2 a.m. With an on call saying that your pipeline is broken. Hevo has an inbuilt capacity with automated monitoring, and we also do self-healing pipeline. So before even making a customer know about that the pipeline broke down, we try at least 3 times to fix it ourselves. And once we see and configure it, so like 90% of our the support or the errors that occur, we try to fix it first ourselves. And by the time even the customer knows, it's typically fixed, right? So there is always fresh data, always ready for your analytics and your AI workloads. And the team actually focuses on building more stuff over your data instead of actually working on fixing and maintaining your pipelines, right? So this is where Hevo comes into the picture. And now enter the Cortex code. I think handing it back over to you, Vivek, that how an AI agent is built in Snowflake.
yeah. So I think it's very important for the audience, like how it actually works. So first of all, Cortex Code is an agentic system, right? Not a single prompt response tool that you see in the market. It's not like that. So here is the flow. Like you start with a natural language request, right? And then we have like intelligent orchestrator to which interprets your intent, like whatever you have given the information to that to the Cortex code, and then it fragments it into a multi-step plan. And when it fragments, it makes sure that it also preserves your session context, right? So wherever you are, you even if you are in, you say like you have worksheet, if you are in worksheet, or if you are in, like notebooks. So wherever you are, even if you are in like suppose admin tabs where you are going with the cost management tab, you want to see the cost, it actually preserves your session. It knows like where you are in that UI in the snow site, and it makes sure that it gives you the proper information that you require, right? So once it it preserves the session, it has a tool selection layer, right? So that tool is responsible to perform SQL execution, do any kind of catalog search that you want, any kind of file operations. So I know like we cannot perform any kind of bash operation inside the inside a Snowflake, but that particular tool is well versed with how to perform file operations. It can create directories for you. It can change ownership. It can list all the files in the directory. Do some semantic model queries. And the most important thing is like more advanced. If you want to serve this Cortex code, then it has Cortex code CLI, right? And so if you have DBT or machine learning workflows, it can make sure that your dbt pipeline is all ready. If any testing queries are missing, you can just tell like, hey, is there any testing queries missing in any of the models, and then it can do it for you. You don't need to sit around and check thousands and thousands of models. It can do in matter of minutes, right? So everything executes inside Snowflake with all your RBAC enforcement against your real warehouse, right? So it uses your account usage, your metadata tables. You don't need to query by yourself. If you are an admin, you don't need to query yourself in these days, right? Once this Cortex code is enabled, you can just write, and backend it can do everything for you. But yeah, it will always ask like, do you want to run this query? And you are the one who oversees this. So nothing is abstract. It is grounded in your actual environment.
Amazing. So basically, AI with human in loop, right?
Yeah.
Got it. So what do you think is the shift in development is happening? Like, how do you describe this sort of shift?
Uh, this shift is like, this is very fast paced today. I would, if I want to talk about it, so very fast, very agile, um, uh, like a quick decision. I would say like, if an organization want to make quick decisions, they don't need to rely on days and days to get the information from the developer teams or any analytical team. So I would say like in that way, it is totally fast from operations perspective. If I would say, if there are a number of pipelines running in production, something goes wrong, and very urgent for some other team to deliver those reports, just go and query it. It has all the information about your current workplace, all your data, all your Snowflake objects, tables, schemas, artifacts. It will give you, pinpoint you what exactly happened to what, and justify you the issue. So very helpful for in that case as well.
Awesome. Let's dive into the part where everybody's waiting for, right? How Cortex Code works and yeah, what are the steps?
Yeah. So first of all, I would like to say like there are three principles which I think like which can be remembered. So it's like a context aware agentic platform, right, which knows where you are currently, what are you working on. Again, like it knows your intent. It is RBAC native, right? So it will never exceed your permission. So like most of the organization will say like, hey, you are using Cortex code, but what happens like if it surpasses any permission? No, it won't happen with your user. If I am a developer, I don't have permission to see HR artifacts or HR database. I wouldn't be able to do it, right? Even if Cortex code has all the context, but it wouldn't allow since it respects your RBAC boundary, right? It runs an agentic loop as well. So it kind of first plans, based on the plans, it will like tailor like how to execute, observe, and it will keep on refining it. So that is why we also call it like an agentic intelligent tool. It's iterative, and not, it doesn't go like one shot, like you tell something and it will give you. It will first break down into multiple steps, first create a plan, and under the hood it can also support multiple models. So like we have Cloud Opus. I think it was 4.5 earlier. Now I think 4.6 is supported, which is highly good quality, highest quality I would say. Like there are some Sonnets variants also. So Cloud Sonnets, something which can be also used, which is faster and efficient. GPT 5.2 is available. So I think yeah.
Awesome. Let's dive into what all Cortex Code can do. What are the use cases people can just start solving for themselves today?
Today, like if you are a developer, so for a developer point of view, I would say like if you're running a pipeline, right, and something goes wrong, you saw an airflow DAG which broke out, and you shouldn't be panic at that time. I would say like fully utilize this Cortex code, right? Give the DAG information. I definitely know like there wouldn't be any context for the DAG, like just you can give the code for the DAG if you want, or else if you have orchestrated everything in the task, then I think your life is very easy because that task is your native orchestrator in Snowflake. So if something goes wrong with your task, let Cortex code know and it will find the issues for you. So for a developer, I think it's pretty good to create quality QA, tests. So different SIT tests, system integration tests, unit tests. I think very best tool for you to get a lot of use cases. If you have something in mind, let it also know. But I think it will cover most of them. Optimize
Awesome.
query, yeah, I think yeah, it's one of the best thing. I think most of the times, like whatever you have written earlier, and if you want to refine those queries in such a way that it is most optimized to your Snowflake, I think it will handle all the workload. And as written, like it will explain you the logic, build all the transformation logics that you want to do in your pipeline, explore data from your catalog. Currently you have a horizon catalog in Snowflake, so you can go across that. PII information, any kind of information, masking policies, row level access policies, anything, tokenization, anything you want to do, you can perform using Snowflake Cortex code. Generate DAX, yeah, definitely you can generate DAX inside that as well. Build reports, so all these kind of scenarios you can do.
Okay, awesome. Moving on to the workflow part. Can you just like walk us through what we are going to do today?
Yeah, so today it will be a small demo session where like if two roles, I would say, like if you are a developer or you are a administrator of Snowflake, which also wants to understand like the cost and everything like that, but it's like you are running out of time and you just want somebody to give you all the information. So you can also treat Cortex code as someone who knows everything about your Snowflake, right? And you just ask question in your natural language, it will give you the answer, so you don't need to put all your energy and life into it. So yes, so first of all I would go through some a demo session in Snowflake in my trial account. Right. So a couple of tables that I would feed with PII information, and let's see like how Cortex code gets to know that PII tables, those columns, as well as also will slice and dice the data with some different questions, and then the second part will be I will be like an admin who wants to understand the cost. So these two things will be covered today.
Awesome. Then it's time for the demo, and I'll stop my screen share and I'll let you take the lead here.
Sure. Thank you, Radhika. Let me first share my screen.
Meanwhile, guys, we have launched a few polls. Just feel free to answer that. It kind of help us, make the session more customized. And it would give us help for the next sessions as well.
Sure. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yep, it's visible.
Right. So currently, if you see, like I don't have anything. It's a trial account, right? So first of all, I would want to create some, like some demo database, some demo schema. So it's just a trial account. So I'm using account admin, but not a good practice, right? So again, go with the good practice. And if you don't know, like you can ask Cortex Code, but good practice is to go with sysadmin, right? Or a custom role tied to sysadmin. So let's create some database. So I have like Cortex Code demo database, and there are three schema. Like we will understand why these three schemas in place. So then we can go along with some, you know, this is a customer table and it has some PII information. So currently it's just a DDL, but I will also populate some data with which has some masked information. So we'll see like how Cortex Code is intelligent enough to detect those columns. And then we have some order table, right? So we would want to know like, which how many customers have placed like highest number of orders, top 10 customers, customer churn, and all those kind of things we can get to know from Cortex Code. We can build a report and everything like that. So here comes like when I am inputting some information into the customer table where we have some PII data in place, right? So 5 rows for now. Oh, let me also pull some information for order table, right? So I'm just trying to mimic what we have currently. Like in organization, we can have lots of tables, but yeah, for this demo, two tables. We'll also create one view to check whether your Cortex code can work with the views or not. Look, it's a standard view. Again, we have secured materialized view also just rolled out few days back, so you can also explore that if you want. And then we will just verify whether all the data have been loaded perfectly. Sorry. So right, so we have 500 records and orders table and customer table, right? So I just wanted to walk you through like how it looks. So now we have this demo and analytics raw data, and I think it was one staging. So not staging, I guess. So we have this raw data where we have two tables, right? So customers and orders. So the data resides here and the view resides in this particular analytics DB. Now that's it, right? You have data in place, you have tables, schema in place and everything like that. Now it's the time to just switch to Cortex code, right? So first of all, there are a couple of things I would want to talk. So plan is your switch button. Right. So if you don't want this Cortex code to just go and execute, like it should first create a plan. If you agree to it, then it would execute it. Then you can just turn it on, this switch, and then you are good to go. Otherwise, like if you just want to start like that, so there is like a folder structure that is recommended by Snowflake, but what I've seen like now you can create it by just a natural language, right? I'm not running out of any credits, so I can go through it, but yeah, you can create a folder structure. And now let's create a folder structure here, and we'll also show you how things are organized in that place. So I would like say like, so if you can click on this plus button, right? So there are skill files also, like you can also upload some skill file. Skill file is nothing but what I would say like is like giving instruction to this particular tool what to perform, right? You can also create skill folders. What skill folders is like, you can have different instructions pertaining to different purposes, right? So based on that, you can also include skill folders which can have different folders, one for agents, one for some cost optimization, one for report building, and three of them can hold different instructions. So whenever you want to infer any instruction, you can just go and put like this slash and you can use some skills, right? So that is your custom skill. But as you see in the UI in the Snow site, you can see there's different skills which are already provided in-house by Snowflake, so you can utilize those as well. For this demo purpose, I will go and click this create skill, and you can name anything. I will name like an suppose agent, and I just will click on create skill. Now let's see what happens. Since you have created a skill, you can see like, hey, now it has created uh, like it has created a folder structure for you. Inside dot snowflake, you have this cortex, and this skill folder is containing one agent folder which has this skill.md, right? This Cortex Code demo SQL is nothing but the one which I ran just a few minutes back. So it contains all your artifacts in place. Now you have a template here for the skills. Now this is the point where you need to give instruction to your Cortex code to do some operation on the tables that you created. And what was the goal of creating this table, right? Why is the requirement? What is the requirement of getting this done? So if you are working in a company or you are at a C executive level, you would want to understand, like how many, like the revenues based on which sector or which part of the country or part of the state you would want to know the revenue, or any kind of customer churn or anything like that. It's the best place for you to create some instructions like that. For now, if you see like on my screen, it has done all the multi-step tasks, this listing directories, recursively listing directories, and then it is proactively asking you, hey, what you want to do with this like this skill file, what you want to do, right? So there can be different scenarios like data governance, full demo guide, or do you want to customize it based on your preference? So for now, let's go with this data governance. Let's see what it happens, like what it does. So once you've clicked on it, so if you see like the agent has gone to this particular folder, skills. Inside that agent, it has gone to the skill file, and it has named this particular MD file, and like it has given the context that what, like the context to the tool, and now it has also set the instructions, right? You can go and you can add your custom instruction as well, and if you think like, okay, this is helpful for you, then you can keep this information, right? So it wouldn't do it by its own. It will always ask your supervision before doing any activity, right? So for now, if you just want to retain everything, you just click on keep all. It has all the context about like which is your demo database, right? What it contains, um, and then your instructions in place, everything inside one window. Also few suggestions, like you can use this key principle, you can add your customized choice, like how you want to build your report, any specific nomenclature or any kind of template that you would want to incorporate it in the reports. So you can also concatenate and build some HTML reports inside it. So everything inside this particular file, you can go and play around with this file to get more information. Now you have this is skill in place, you have the database, and this is the folder structure that we would want to create. Now good thing is like if you want to build a report, right? So you don't want to mess up the folder structure. So you can ask and go like Cortex code, hey, can you build some reporting folder structure for me, and place all the reporting files once generated into the respective folders. So it will go directly to your reports folder, and will place all your reports inside it. So this will make your folder structure very hygiene in place. So yeah, this is one thing. Now, some couple of questions that we are interested in, and we will ask in a very natural language, right? Like we want to understand, uh, like what are the top three regions which contribute to the revenue in the last 7 days? Like you just want this information, right? So I have already, you know, written all the questions. So I will ask like, hey, this is one question. Then there can be some other questions where you want to understand credit card information. Is there any credit card sensitive information with some sensitive fields like SSN? and credit card numbers. So let's see like if it finds it. Your organization might have thousands and thousands of tables inside your finance DB. Pretty much easy for you to do it. Some anomaly detection if you want to perform, and that's it. I think this is more than enough. Then we can ask like we need to get a containing the above questions. That's it. I'm not adding much thing to it because it is context friendly and I think it should work. Let's see. So it's going to horizon catalog, and then let's see like how the agent communicates to each other, and like it did not find, so it will do something else. You can always click on this up arrow button and low arrow button to see like what all things it wants to do, what it is doing behind the lens. So it is also checking whether the content of whether the question is is actually right based on the data that we have. So it will run a lot of queries behind that, describe the table, we'll see whether the columns containing those SPI data information, all those kind of things. So here you will save a lot of time. Um, so as you can see, like there are it is trying to understand the intent, it is trying to run and see whether like the underlying tables are present, it contains the relevant information which I have asked, and it is also you know trying to recorrect it itself. If something goes wrong, it will self heal it. Now it is trying to validate all the queries and writing the SQL reports into a like it will write into a file, let's say. So it is telling that it has changed one file. Let's see what it has changed. So if I click here, you can see like, hey, this has contained you know, all the questions that I've asked in natural language. It has created a SQL for that, right? So it has saved your time because it was just four questions, I guess. So based on that four questions, it has created four SQL. So if in that skill MD you could have written like, hey, I just want all the report SQL to stay in some other folder structure, it could have done that. Since I have not done it in a skill MD, you can see like all the files are present inside that particular SQL only, which can make sometimes your work, untidy. So I would suggest going with that approach. You can still correct it, but that's a good way of doing it. So let's see, like, let's keep this query, right? Now it contains all your artifacts when we created it, right? And it also contains your report SQL queries, right? It has done its BA work. Now I would like to understand, like, like just numbers. So I would like to ask, like, how many rows contains sensitive personal information. Let's see, like I have asked it very straightforward. Let's see what it does. So it knows like where to go. So it has gone to the customer table, right? So it did not go to the order table. It went to the customer table because it has inference to your horizontal catalog, and it knows like where to go, which columns to pull, right? And it is also showing all 5 rows in customer contains sensitive personal information, and every row has values for all 6 PII columns, which contains SSN, credit card numbers, emails, and all those kind of things, right? And if I just quickly ask one more question, like, hey, give me this information. What are the top 3 regions contribute to the revenue in the last 7 days? So let's see like how it does. So you can go through the query also, like this is the query. So it has given you the information like east, the total revenue is this, west, the information is this and this. So it used your uh, table which is like daily revenue, right? So it went to the daily revenue and got all the information for you. So I think it makes sense to you because you can query anything about your data inside your organization. With your natural language, you can, structure it appropriately inside your workspace, make it very much cleaner, and keep doing it. You can build some reports. You can just ask, schedule those reports, everything under one hood. You can also create some Streamlit app directly from here. You can correct your DBT models. Now, one question comes like, how do you understand the cost? So in order to understand the cost, and you are an admin, platform admin, you would want to understand how many tokens usage and all those kind of things. So you can go directly to the admin ones. So let me first go to the admin ones. Yeah, so cost ones, right? So let me first do it like this. Go to the admin and then go to the cost management, right? So now, this is your cost management tab. This is my trial account. Now you are much more interested in like what users. Suppose like you want to understand which role is connected, which how many users are connected to some particular role or account admin role. So this can be one of your question, like what users have the account admin role in your organization, right? You don't need to query now using a SQL primitive approach. You can ask in a very natural language. It will do all your administrative task. Yeah, so it will say like, hey, this is the user who has this account admin role currently connected to it. Now you would want to ask like this question. Describe the Cortex code this table. Does it contain any PI like information? Like just a generic one. I think it can also do that. So this is from administrative point of view that you can, do these kind of things. And also like quick note on this. So yeah, it has given you all the information like all 13 columns, and it contains several PI columns. So yeah, it has all the context about your Snowflake. So it's a token based usage. It has same Snowflake billing model, and you can also set limits per user, right? So the real story is not like your ROI. It's like which used to take 2 3 hours manually primitively can often be done in your 10 minutes, right? So the cost has become negligible compared to the productivity gains currently. So with this, I would want to take a pause. And from my demo perspective, I think this were few of the glimpse and the ideation, like how we can, there can be several use cases for this.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vivek, for making us go through all the demo together, and I hope audience found it interesting as well. We can now move on to the leftover portion, which is advanced skills in intelligence in Snowflake, right? So there are a lot of pre-built expertise embedded in directly into your workflows. How can people use it?
Uh, so like as I talked about snow site, so it was like one of like this Snowflake Cortex code comes with 2 different ways of working with it. So this was the demo session for basic users, like where you create some, like for agentic customization, you create some agents.md file, to tailor your code to your team's standards, like their unique standards. So there are some built-in Snowflake skills which I told, some something like natural language which you were doing, but there is one more extension for the advanced users, If you want to deep dive into some advanced use case, like then you can add some custom tools as well, right? Like some life cycle hooks, and then you can create some sub agents which can tailor to your data stack for your organization, right? So using CLI, that goes with code CLI, Cortex Code CLI, that you can use some custom tools. You can define some agentic skills, for your domain specific business logic and workflows, again with your Git, right? With your Git, and then I would say like with your DBT models, you can integrate it very seamlessly, right? So that is one of the best things when you are working with this command line interface, because that is uh, that is very much close to your operating system. It can access your local files, it can go through any Git repositories. Again, whatever it does will always maintain the boundary of your RBAC and your security guidelines in place. And then I would say like these kind of advanced skill set also, I would say like it represents a paradigm shift, right? Like how data teams interact with modern data platforms nowadays.
Okay, interesting. So I think we have talked about this part, right? Cortex code, basically what it does is it builds fast, it iterates fast, and so much less manual work. And moving on to, kind of bringing it together and summarizing it together. So from your raw source to your AI powered outcomes, you can use Hevo for ingestion, Snowflake for storage and compute, and Cortex for building and optimizing your queries and transforming where data lives, right? um so for to start help you start your AI journey, you can schedule a demo with Hevo, and we can help you start your Snowflake AI journey. You can also experiment in your Cortex Code account in Snowsite or CLI. We'll open the floor for questions. We'll wait a few minutes. We have like 1 or 2 minutes left. So we'll wait a few minutes and then see if we get some questions. You can ask about implementation, you can ask about anything and everything from ingestion to Cortex. I do not see any questions coming in as of now. But no worries, we'll be sharing the recording, we'll be sharing the resources that we have used, and we hope that you have gotten something out of this. Okay, so we have one question. How is Hex Analytics used with Cortex Code? I think Vivek, it's if you can help us answer this one.
Um, Not sure with what is Hex Analytics in this case.
Hex
Uh,
is one of it's an analytical company, Hex Code.
okay, so I think Cortex Code has like it's most it's like bolted on your Snowflake platform, right? So Cortex Code is something which you can enable for your organization. Think enable for some users, right? So once you have that enablement in your organization, you can use your Cortex Code. And I hope like if Hex Analytics is using any kind of Snowflake warehouse inside it, like I think you can just use this Cortex Code to get any kind of insight for report building, for any kind of Snowflake activity that we perform primitively. You can use those all those features in a Cortex Code, and that too you can uh, you know shorten your time and increase your productivity using Cortex Code. So I think, yeah, if you have Snowflake, you can do it for
I think,
organization.
yeah, so you can definitely, do your data analysis part from Hex and, use AI directly over it, without moving it anywhere else. So basically, Hex will help you do a collaborative data workspace. It helps you write all the SQL, Python, and build all of that, right? And Snowflake is like a complementary layer. Cortex Code would be a complementary layer over it, so you can use it parallelly and at the top of it as well. So, both use cases are valid and possible.
Yep. Thank you, Radhika.
Yeah. Cool. I think, okay, I think we have, can we implement CI/CD using Cortex?
Good question. So implementation of CI/CD using Cortex, right? So definitely, if you like, suppose if you are using any kind of third-party tools for CI/CD, right? Like if I talk about GitHub Actions, right? Like one of the tools which can pretty much engage with your DBT models and all those kind of things. So in order to get all the code, relevant code for you, for that CI/CD pipeline in place, you can use a Cortex code. It has influence about all your horizon catalog tables, schema information and everything. So it will help you build the code right inside their platform, inferring to their database artifacts and everything like that. In Python, if you want, like it can create in a Python language, and it's a like ready to deploy code in your in your external CI/CD pipeline, third party tools. So you can use it for that purpose. I hope that
Oh,
answers the question. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, interesting. I think those were all the questions that we had. So thank you so much, everybody, for staying until the end. We hope we were able to answer your questions. If anything else, feel free to reach out to us, or Vivek. We would be happy to answer the questions. Thank you so much, Vivek, for joining in today. It was amazing. Going through the webinar and trying to understand how Cortex works and how Hevo fits into the picture. Hope to see you all again soon on a similar topic. Cool. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you, Radhika. Thank you for joining.